Hello, I'm JW. This time I've got a socket here with a switch on it. Now the socket here is basically just one of those old 15 amp round pin things, so just goes in there, set at a slight angle for whatever reason. But the main point of this one is this rather unusual switch mechanism. Now even at the time most sockets would have just had like a lever or something, so sort of up and down for on and off. But this particular one has this rather strange button arrangement. And the deal here is that you basically press the button down, and it takes a considerable amount of effort, and that switches it on. And when it's on, there's a little red piece there which points out the front. And if you press it again, then it turns off, and the red bit goes away. So let's have a look inside. So this is it. The manufacturer on this one is Clix, or C-L-I-X. Just about to see it embossed in the front there. Notice that the actual name is on a separate insert from whatever this was moulded with, so presumably they may well have done this with other brand names. And hey, the socket here is pretty much the standard deal with the 3 round pins, earth being a bit bigger, and it's got the shutters as well, which again was common even at the time, so that when you put the earth pin in, it would open the shutters for the 2 holes, the line and neutral. And the switch here is absolutely ridiculous. So it's got this huge white button here which I'm supposed to press down, and this is in the off position, and this tab has the remains of a little bit of green paint there, a bit to see, so that would have been sort of green for in the off position, and in the on position this red piece here just pops out of the slot there. Now it makes a terrible amount of noise, and this is because of the ridiculous mechanism that's inside, so let's just open this up and have a look at it. Now this is made out of Bakelite, as most of these things are. It's the rear case, and in the back here we can see the actual mechanism. So terminals here for the socket, just got the earth here, just a wire goes straight into the hole in the side. Neutral here, again the same kind of deal, just a hole in the side there, screw tightens down. And then the line, of course, is what's switched. So this is only a single pole switch, despite its massive heft and completely unnecessary design. And here it is. So your incoming power basically goes to the terminal here, just again with a screw connection, and that means this piece is permanently live. And then this is the outgoing side of the switch, and that's just linked across here with this piece of rubber insulated wire over to the socket. So this is in the off position, and the deal is that when you actually press the button here at the top, and this huge chunk of metal just springs down and bridges over the 2 contacts, and of course pressing again releases that to break the circuit. Now we can see the rating in this at the bottom here, and it's just embossed into the plastic, and this is actually only rated for 15 amps maximum, so again the rating of the actual socket there, 250 volts, and made in England, of course, and obviously registered trademark and so on. Now the back case here, which is also this sort of black Bakelite type material, again, it's got a couple of holes there where the wires obviously used to go in. Clix brand name on the back, though it's interesting to note that that's not a separate sort of insert in the mould, it's part of it, so if you'd had one with a different front name it would have had that on the back and something else on the front. Mark for top there, of course, and also top inside. It's got the part number at the bottom, and I've got this huge shield piece across the middle here, which essentially would go between the 2 sections here. And presumably they had some idea that there might be a bit of an arc or flash when this contact's opened or closed, and preventing it arcing across. But bearing in mind the huge distance we've got between these, I mean this is the line terminal anyhow, neutral's far away, so it was really anything between the live parts here and the earth, but I mean as you can see there it's a couple of inches between it, so a normal mains voltage of sort of 250, there's absolutely no way an arc is going to get that kind of distance, so again completely unnecessary really to have that in there, and it's not even the full depth, it only sort of covers sort of some of the actual distance within. And you'll notice there's a big cutout here anyhow, which of course is where this wire and things actually goes through. So here's another look at the switch. So we've got this button at the top which just presses down on that sort of plunger, and then we've got this metal which looks like copper here. So in one position the plunger is acting on that side, and then if we actually switch over, when it comes back and then retracts, it then clicks in on that piece, and then of course it's going to open the switch, and again when the plunger is retracted, then it just snaps back into the other position. So pressing it, it will both open and close the switch. And we can see it's just a huge chunk of metal. You've got some insulating material here, which could be some kind of mica or some similar stuff. Bottom two terminals there just mounted on this piece of what's probably Paxilin or some other similar material. It's generally sort of a paper or fibre or fabric and something with a resin impregnated to make it into a stiff material. So two terminals there, which will just be two blades of copper. And then these pieces here are brass, which will just of course spring down and go between those two. All the rest is brass. This is all brass here as well. And we'll just close that. We'll see underneath here, these are all individually machined brass components as well. Actuating bar here, so it looks to be copper, which seems again rather unnecessary. I mean, copper is far more expensive than most other metals, and even at the time it still was. And the frame here looks to be just steel, and let's check that actually with a magnet. Yeah, so it's definitely steel just for the sort of outer frame there, and that is connected to the earth terminal here. But the rest of the components are definitely sort of non-ferrous, so no real attraction going on to any of those, and that's pretty much what you would expect. Terminals for the actual socket here, this is basically a tunnel, so the pin goes down inside, so it's again all one machined piece of brass. I've just got like a little insert there on the side, which is the tab for operating the shutter mechanism. And again, back on the here, just the brass terminals. There's one to square on the back, but of course again they're going to be the round tunnel type on the front. Huge size piece of material here, and you've got your threaded screw for the earth wire to go in the side there. And again, this is all fixed together here, additional screws on the top, and all that basically attached through one huge metallic slab there, and all of this metalwork here will be earthed. So a considerable amount of cost involved in manufacturing this thing, and it's really unclear why on earth they actually did this. I mean, surely they must have had some kind of cost constraint when this thing was designed, and this is totally over the top and completely unnecessary. Bearing in mind we're talking 15 amps here, 1.5, not sort of 50 or 100 or something. This would probably switch far more than that with ease, which of course is pointless because it's only supplying just that single outlet on the front. So here's the thing put back together, and even at the time I said this would be absolutely ridiculous in terms of its size and the ridiculously over-engineered switch there. And these squares in the background here are just 1 centimetre, so just line it up there. You can see it's about 5 centimetres in depth, or 2 inches from the wall, and then of course you've got your additional sort of 3 or 4 centimetres poking out for the switch part itself. And in terms of sort of width there, again, we're looking at sort of 13 odd centimetres there, or the best part of nearly 6 inches. So a huge, great big thing, obviously designed only for surface mounting because the screws here are specific to this box. There's threaded inserts in the plastic there, so all moulded basically and presumably sold as one single piece with the box in the front as well. And quite why it was made to such a ridiculously over-specified thing is not clear. So even at the time you could get 15 amp sockets with, say, just normal switches on. They did the job just as well. So that's really the end for that one, and until next time, thanks for watching.